Okay, everyone, welcome to Linux as Simple as Possible. Today we're going to look at 28 options for the find command. Now, what I've done is I've combed through the man page for find, and I've taken what seems to be the most useful options for the find command. And so today I'm going to present 28 different ways to utilize that find command. Okay, so let's jump into this. Okay, so this spreadsheet you see here, once again, I'm going to make it available on GitHub. You can just follow the link in the description below to download a copy of this spreadsheet. SHA-256 hash is on GitHub for you to hash it. And so, download it, use it as a handy reference guide. You can also download it and follow along at your leisure. Okay, so let's jump into this. First off, what is the Linux command find? So what find does is it locates files and folders based on specific criteria. So, side note, when I was new to Linux, I used to get the find command and the grep command confused often because grepping to me sounded like you were finding things, which is true. However, the difference between the grep command and the find command is that grep searches for patterns within a file. Grep searches for patterns inside of a file. However, the find command looks for files specifically, and it looks for them, again, based on specific criteria, whether that be a name, a file size, a time the file was modified, etc., etc. You'll see as we move through this. So let's jump in right off the bat with the simplest of find commands, find-name. This is searching for a file based on its name. So we will, as you can see here, we're starting out in opt-temp find, and we'll go find-name sample. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, it found a couple of things. First, it found a directory called sample. Then it also found a file called sample underneath the sample directory. Because if we do a quick ls here, you can see that here's a directory called sample, but underneath that directory is a file called sample. So you can see that the find command found both the folder and the file itself. Okay, so let's move on to the next item. Okay, search with extension. Searches in the current folder and all subfolders for files named sample.txt. Tag name specifies the name of the file/folder. So the only difference between the one I just showed you and the one below here is that this is a file called sample. This is a file called sample.txt. So instead of belaboring that, since it's only a difference in the name of the file, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so search outside of your current folder. As you can see here, we're in opt-temp find. But what if we want to look outside of that? What if we want to start one level up in the opt-temp directory? Well, we would simply specify that. We would simply specify the directory we want to start, initiate or start the search from before we do tag name sample.txt. So let's do that now. Find opt-temp name, just like we did last time, sample.txt. Okay, so we see here that we have two sample.txts. One is an opt-temp tree, one is an opt-temp find. So it found both of them because we started in the parent directory here, opt-temp. Simple enough, right? Yeah, pretty easy. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is a wildcard search. This is going to be a useful one. So find tag name, and then we'll do quotes because it doesn't like it if you do it without quotes. We'll do find dash name, and then anything. That's what this wildcard is. This says anything that ends in .txt. So we have all these other files that end in .txt, not just the sample files. We have all these other files. And the find command found all of them because we used the wildcard. Simple enough. What do we have next? Here's an interesting one. Use the find command. List details about the files being returned. Now don't let this throw you. This is actually everything after the exec is actually fairly simple once you get used to it. Everything learning is just, going through your reps and getting used to using commands like that. So we'll do the same search again, except this time we want to see some details about what the find command returns to us. So again, we'll do find name txt. We'll do an execute command ls tac lh, and then we'll do okay, look at that. So it gave us ls tac h information about each of the files. So if I were to run that again, so you can see the difference here. So there's without the exec command listing the details. Here's with the exec command listing the details. So we can see here the permissions. We can see the owner and the group. We can see the file size, last time it was changed, and of course the file itself along with a parent folder. So again, that is the exec ls tac lh along with these other commands. This basically means, hey, for all results, do this, run ls tac lh for each individual result. And these two symbols, this is just an escape. So it says, hey, don't try to interpret this as something special. Just take this semicolon, and this semicolon means it's the end of the exec command. That's all it is. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Find empty. Empty searches for empty files and folders. So search in the current folder and all subfolders for empty files or folders. This can be a really helpful one. Find tac empty. Look at that, empty file. It found a file called empty file. Now really quick, let's take a look at that empty file. See, it has 0 bytes. It is completely empty. So that's how you find all of the empty files starting in the initial directory. We'll move on to the next. Okay, iname option. Ignore uppercase and lowercase. Searches in the current folder and all subfolders for files named sample.txt and ignores uppercase and lowercase letters. Let's see what that means. Find iname sample.txt. Okay, awesome. So it gave us sample.txt, lowercase sample, and sample.txt, uppercase sample. So if we just change it, just as a reminder, if we change it to name, it'll only give us lowercase sample because we typed in lowercase sample. However, we go iname, and it'll give us uppercase sample as well. Let's find out what's next. Okay, max depth specifies the number of sublevels to search. Searches in the current folder only for files ending on .txt. Name obviously specifies the name of the file or folder we want to find, and maxdepth 2 will only search 2 subfolders down. So we'll go find maxdepth 2 name, I believe it was star.txt. Okay, so we are only going down 2 folders. So we went down to sample.txt folder here, sample.txt folder here, sample.txt, and so on. Now, what if we run this same search as a reminder and we don't use max depth? Oh, we get down here, level 2, level 3. If you find this, you aren't using max depth. So again, this only searches down 2 folders because we set max depth to 2. However, if we don't use it, you see here it will go down to level 3 and it will find this file conveniently called if you find this, you aren't using maxdepth.txt. All right, what's next? Type D, search for folders only. So D will stand for directories. So type specifies the type of object to search for. Type D, search for object type directory. And obviously name means the name of a file or folder. So we'll go find dash type D name. What did we say star? No, just name sample. Okay, this just found the sample folder, not the sample file. So let's get rid of this type D. You'll see underneath the sample folder, this is the sample folder, you have the sample file. However, we restrict it to folders only, and again, it only brings us the sample folder. Easy one, again. Okay, type F, search for files only. Don't return folders, only return files. So, find type F sample. Oh, I forgot to put the name in there. Okay, so it only found the sample file. Now, you may look at this and go, well, wait a minute, it returned the sample folder as well here. Well, yes, it did, but that's only because it's showing you where the sample file is. You can see, if we run it without type -f, it'll give us the sample folder and the sample file underneath the sample folder. But again, we'll go type F and it'll only show us, hey, here's the sample file underneath the sample folder. So type F to search for files only. What do we have next? Ooh, search based on permissions. -perm, search based on octal permissions. What are octal permissions? Octal, base 8 numbering system, 0 through 7. The octal permissions are outside of the scope of this video. So if you don't know what octal permissions are at the moment, don't sweat it. I plan on making a video about octal permissions eventually, or else you can Google it now and get smart on it. But if you already know what octal permissions are, just know that, hey, you can find files based on octal permissions. So what does this particular command and option do? So it searches in the current folder for all subfolders and all subfolders for files or folders with permission set to 755. And obviously perm is short for permissions. So let's do that now. Find -perm 755. Okay, so it looks like sample.txt is set to 755. The level 3 folder and level 2 folder are set to 755. So let's take a look at the, let's validate that this command ran correctly, and let's look at the sample.txt. So let's do ls-lh, and then we'll do the sample folder. Look at that. 7, 5, 5. Now again, if you're not familiar with octal permissions, you may have asked yourself just then, what the heck is he talking about? But again, don't sweat it. RWX in this first column stands for 7, R-X stands for 5, and R-X stands for 5. It goes back to binary, but again, don't sweat it at the moment. Just know that you can search for files using the files and folders using the find command based on octal permissions. Okay, next, bang-perm. If you don't know, the exclamation point is often called bang in, I would say, Linux lingo. I'm not sure like exactly where the boundary is between the context where people call it bang, call it the exclamation point bang, and outside of that context they call it the regular exclamation point. But just know that oftentimes in the IT industry you'll hear it called bang. So find bang perm 755. What does that mean? Well, it just means the same thing as perm 755 up here. However, the bang means not what follows. So find anything that does not have the permissions of 755. So let's jump into that, see what it does. So again, well, let me clear this. Again, you can see here, sample.txt has the permissions of 755. So let's go bang perm 755. This probably doesn't like. Okay, now what file do you not see here? You don't see the uppercase sample.txt, do you? Nope, that's because the uppercase sample.txt has permissions of 755. And we don't want to see files with permission 755. So we have the bang there for the not modifier. Okay, let's see what is next. Perm/u. Search based on the current user permissions. Find perm/u equals r. What does that mean? Searches in the current folder and all subfolders for files and folders that are readable for the current user. So the /u means the current user, and r stands for readable. So let's do that right now. Find -perm for permissions, /u for the current user, readable. Okay. So we have all of these files here that are readable by the current user. Well, who is the current user? Let's type who am I. Oh, current user is student, right? Okay, so if we do ls-lh on, let's do sample2.txt, we will see, according to this, student, because this is the other column and R stands for readable, the student user is able to read sample2.txt, right? So again, we go show me all the files that are readable by the current user. and sample2.txt is one of those files. So let's move on to the next one. Perm/O, search based on others' permissions. So find -perm/O equals X. So searches in the current folder and all subfolders for files and folders that are executable by everyone. Perm means permissions, of course. /O means others. X stands for executable. So let's jump into that. Find -perm/O equals X. Okay, so sample.txt, uppercase sample. So let's validate that the group other is allowed to execute the file sample.txt. lstech sample.txt. Okay, so this last column stands for others. So others have the ability to read and execute uppercase sample.txt. So this validates that find perm O equals X is working correctly because others are able to execute. You can see by that X there. Okay, let's move on. Okay, -user, find files, folders owned by a specific user. So not that they are executable or readable, but that they are owned by a specific user. So this particular command finds all files that end in .txt that are owned by username student, because student is explicitly typed out there, -user student, under the optemp folder. User specifies the username, name means the name of a file, and again, that wildcard star means any character or number of characters, and don't forget the quotes. So we'll do find optemp user student name star.txt. Look at that. Optemp find file owned by student.txt. So let's check that out. File owned by student.txt. Sure enough, we look in the owner column and we see the username student. So again, when we typed in user student, give me files that are owned, files underneath the optemp directory that are owned by the user student and that end in .txt. That's what we got here. It's owned by the user student and it ends in .txt. Okay, next. -group find files, folders owned by a specific group. So in this particular case, we want to find all files and folders that are owned by the group smugglers underneath the optemp find folder, and the -group specifies the group name. So we're already underneath optemp find, so I am just going to say find -group smugglers. Look at that. File owned by smugglers group.txt. Okay, let's validate that that worked correctly. So we see here in the group column, this is the users column, this is the group column. We see in this group column that smugglers owns this text file, conveniently named file owned by smugglers group.txt. All right, let's move on. mtime, modified time. Find mtime-10 finds this particular command finds all files and folders that were modified less than 10 days ago. dash mtime stands for modification time, dash 10, less than 10 days ago. So what does modified mean? What does it really mean? Modified means the contents of a file or folder changed. So that not the metadata, but the contents themselves of the file or folder. So let's run that right now. See what we get. Find dash mtime minus 10 means less than 10 days ago. Okay, file owned by student popped up, file owned by smugglers group popped up. So let's check the dates of, let's do file owned by student. Okay, so today is March 16th, and this was last modified on March 12th. So that is definitely less than 10 days ago. That is 4 days ago, to be exact. So, see how that works? Let's move on to the next one. Access time. Okay. Find dash atime minus 15 finds all files and folders that were accessed less than 15 days ago. So, dash atime, access time. Negative 15 or minus 15 means less than 15 days ago. So what does accessed mean? Accessed means that the file was read. Modified means the contents of a file or folder changed. Accessed means the file was read or opened. Okay. Find dash atime, access time, minus 15. So we have file owned by student, smugglers, sample folder, level 2 folder, level 2, level 3 folder. So let's validate lstech.lh, file owned by student. Okay, definite, again, same file. It was accessed, well, let's stat it, let's do that. File owned. Yes, I know. Okay, it was accessed on the 12th. It was the 11th. Yeah, reading is hard. So it was modified on the 12th, but it was accessed on the 11th, which is still less than 15 days ago, right? So when we typed in up here, access time less than 15, the 11th definitely falls within that time period. Definitely less than 15. It's more like 5, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next. Okay, atime plus num minus num, accessed within a specific time window. That might be useful. So find dash atime plus 1 dash atime minus 5. So what does that mean? It means find all files and folders that were accessed more plus 1 more than 1 day ago, but less than minus 5, less than 5 days ago. Dash atime means access time, plus 1 means more than 1 day ago, minus 5 means less than 5 days ago, blah, blah, blah. Accessed, again, access means the file was read. So let's do that. Find atime plus 1, and we have to type in atime again. We want to create that restraint or that time window. Oh, look at that. File owned by smugglers group. So let's stat that. So when was it last accessed? The 12th. So today's the 16th. That was definitely more than 1 day ago, but less than 5 days ago. So searching within time windows. Just remember to use the atime twice if you want to search within a window. Okay, let's move on to the next. Changed. Changed within a specific number of minutes. Okay, find cmin minus 10. Find all files and folders that were changed within the last 10 minutes. Cmin, changed within a certain number of minutes. Minus 10, less than 10 minutes ago. Change means a metadata change. Owner, group, timestamp, or content change as well. So just know that changed means anything changed, not just contents modified. It can mean contents modified, but it also can mean the file changed owners as well. So let's see if we can find anything. Find changed within minutes minus 10. Oh, there's nothing in there. Minus 10. Okay. Well, let's do something. Let's open up a file. Let's pick one here. Let's open the file owned by student. So you can see here that I've already been playing with this text file. Okay, so that should be a recent change. Let's run that command again. Find anything that's changed in the last 10 minutes. File owned by student. Look at that. That's because we went in there and we deleted some text. So the file has been changed within the last 10 minutes. So if we stat that file, I don't want to belabor this too long, but let's just take a quick peek. Today, 2117, and it is 2118. Now, okay, for you people who understand military time and time zones very well, just know that this is Pacific time, and this is Mountain Standard, I believe, or Central. I can't remember which. Outside of the scope of the video. All right, we'll move on. We got a lot of stuff to get through. Okay, so modified -mmin, modified within a specific number of minutes. So find -mmin minus 10. Find all files and folders that were modified within the last 10 minutes. -mmin means modified within a certain number of minutes. So again, let's reiterate, modified means the contents of a file or folder changed. Okay? So let's go back again. Find. Now, file owned by student should pop up again, because we modified it because we changed the contents. Yep, there you go. File owned by student. I'll bypass statting it again because we literally just looked at that. But know that you can search by files who had, their contents changed within the last 10 minutes using find-mmin. Amin, accessed within a specific number of minutes. Find amin minus 10 finds all files and folders that were accessed within the last 10 minutes. Well, if we run this again, we should see file owned by student pop up again. So if we do accessed within the last 10 minutes, file owned by student. Why? Because I am going to stat it this time. Access 2117. We are at 2120 in that Central Standard Time. The reason I know that this is Pacific Standard Time is because I live in the Pacific Standard Time. The reason I don't know about this time is because I am currently going to school in the central United States. But I can't remember. I think it's, well, time zone doesn't matter. Let's just move on. That's not going to help you guys. Okay, so next, size. Size, find files based on their size. Easy enough, right? Okay, but what does this 49C stand for? Well, let's take a look. So find dash size 49C finds all files and folders that are 49 bytes in size. Dash size, find a file or folder that is a specific size. C is bytes. K, if you were to put 49K, that stands for kilobytes. If you were to put uppercase M, that would be 49 megabytes. If you were to put G, it would be gigabytes, and so on. So, you are all probably familiar with kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, but you may not be familiar with kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes. So what are those? Well, depending on the context, whether or not you're talking about a hard drive or another form of storage, you could either be talking about 1,000 bytes, a kilobyte being 1,000 bytes, or 1024 bytes. So to try to simplify things, we came up with kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes. So when somebody says a megabyte, you can know for sure that they're talking about 1024 kilobytes. Okay, so there's no gray area saying, okay, they said kilobyte, but do they mean 1,000 bytes or do they mean 1,024 bytes? No, if they say kilobyte, they mean 1,024 bytes. And if they say megabyte, they mean 1,024 kilobytes. So that's the way that works. So, but the find, going back to the point of the whole video, this find command will look for any files that are 49 bytes in size. So let's take a look at that. Find size. We wanted to do 49 bytes. Sample.txt. What size is sample.txt? Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. It's exactly 49 bytes. It's almost like that was planned for the demonstration. Okay, let's move on and find out what's next. Okay, find size plus or minus. So look for files between specific upper and lowercase constraints. So size, find dash size plus 52 bytes dash size minus 70 bytes. So what does that mean? That means, well, plus 52 bytes means larger than 52 bytes. Minus 70 bytes means smaller than 70 bytes. So let's jump into it. Find size 52 bytes. Size, plus 52 bytes. So greater than 52 bytes. And then dash size minus 70 bytes. So less than 70 bytes. Oh, look at that. If you find this, you aren't using max depth. Okay, what is the size of that? Level 2, level 3. It is 62 bytes. So 62 is definitely between 52 and 70, right? So the find command is operating correctly. Glad we figured that out. Okay, what's next? fprint. Save find results to a file. Find-name. star.txt. fprint optemp find garbage file. What does that do? Searches in the current folder and all subfolders for files ending in .txt. Then it saves the file folder names that it finds to a file called garbage file in the optemp find directory. And then, of course, you see here fprint file print prints or saves the find search results into a file you specify. Okay, let's jump in and do this. Find-name star.txt fprint garbage file. Oh, permission denied. Let's use the magic word, which is not please in this case. Okay. Did it make it? Yep, there it is, garbage file. Okay, let's see what is in garbage file. Look, there's the results of our find command saved to a handy dandy file that we can reference anytime we want. Okay, so since we're done with that, I am just going to do some cleanup here. Yes. Okay. Forgot the magic word. There we go. Is it gone? Yep, it's gone. Okay, what do we have next? Find and remove a file automatically. Okay, find-name sample2.txt. There's that exec command again. This is the case we're going to remove -force. And you see it explained over here. Name means the name of an object to find. Exec means execute command. rm-f forcefully remove, and don't generate a prompt asking me to confirm whether or not I want to delete. And again, the curly brackets are a placeholder for each occurrence of sample2.txt. Backslash is an escape character. And the semicolon stands for the end of the exec command. Everything after the exec command is taken as an argument until the semicolon symbol is encountered. So we'll go find sample. Yeah, it was straight into sample. Yeah. Name. For some reason, I always forget to put name in there. Sample2.txt, exec, rm, tech f, curly brackets, escape character, semicolon. Well, you know what? Before we do that, where is sample2? Find. I know. I have a great idea. Let's use the find command to find it. Okay, it's right underneath the sample directory. So we know if we tell it to remove sample.txt and we run that find command again, it is not going to see it. So we'll do find name sample2.txt exec remove -force curly brackets escape character semicolon permission denied. Use the magic word. Okay, looks like it ran. Now let's try to find it. Oh, it's not there. It's gone. Okay, so let us go and move on to the next one. Okay, find and remove all empty files automatically. That sounds like it could be handy. Oh, yes, it is. I have used this quite a bit at work myself when there's empty files sitting around. So find sample /empty exec remove forcefully, so on, so on, so on. And again, remember -empty stands for empty files, exec execute command, remove forcefully, etc., etc., etc. So let's see what empty files are inside of the sample folder. Well, looks like we have an empty file called empty file. Convenience, like that's like it was planned. Okay, so we want to do find sample empty exec, remove it forcefully, curly brackets, escape character semicolon. Permission denied. Use the magic word, you fool. Okay, looks like it ran. Now, if we do... Uh-oh. That empty file's gone. Yep, sure is. We killed it. Okay, next. Find all files larger than a specific size and remove them automatically. So what are we doing here? Let's look at this command. Find type F, that means find files, not folders, find files. Size plus 100K, what does that mean? That means greater than 100 kilobytes. Exec remove slash, that's what we've been doing, right? Using the exec command to remove files. So let's find files larger than 100 kilobytes so we can recognize if the remove command successfully runs. So we'll do find size 100, greater than 100K. Okay, there's a folder called john.conf.back. We'll do ls-lh. Here is john.conf.back. We can see it is 115 kilobytes. So definitely bigger than 100 kilobytes. Let's go and we'll run this now. Excuse me. We'll do find type F, then we'll do size plus 100 kilobytes, execute, remove forcefully, curly brackets, escape character semicolon. Permission denied. Use the magic word, you fool. Okay, looks like it ran. Now we remember we did ls-lh and john.conf.back was here. Did it go away? Let's find out. It's gone. Sure enough, the find command with the exec command found all files larger than 100 kilobytes, larger than 100 kilobytes and removed them automatically. Okay, let's see what's next. Well, that looks like we're getting to the end here. Tac version. So what does this do? Find tac version shows the version you have of the find utility because there can be different versions of this find command. So if you want to verify what you have, which version you have, you type find tac version, and we have find version 4.9.0. So let's clear that up. Okay, once again, hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something useful that you can take to your work and utilize on a daily basis. Again, if you want a copy of this Excel spreadsheet, just go to the link in the description. Go to my GitHub and you can download it from there. I have the SHA-256 hash so you can validate the spreadsheet that it's not a virus or anything. So that'll be it. Hope you enjoyed our time together and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.